And now let's take on another word of the year. Okay, folks, this word of the year thing is stressing me out. The Oxford Dictionary named RIZZ its word of the year. I didn't know what the hell that word means. We're going to talk about Merriam-Webster's word too, and I like their word better. But I'm not sure if this means, if RIZZ is the word of the year, I don't know if this means that people are just willing to ignore this narcissism thing. Because every day I hear, Dr. Ramani, tell me the red flags, the red flags, the red flags. And then you are telling me then the ultimate red flag is chosen as the effing word of the year. So again, it's a little bit like what Merriam-Webster chose. They chose authenticity, right? So either the choice was ironic or it's clueless. So I had to look it up. I'm 1,000 years old. I had no idea what RIZZ meant. When I looked it up, I learned that it meant charisma. And apparently Gen Z is influencing language a lot more than I thought. Y'all better watch out for these narcissistic relationships that are about to happen to you. Welcome to this channel. So interestingly, when Oxford picks its word, it's not a bunch of old Harry Potter looking wizard scholars sitting around a table at an ancient building in Oxford choosing the word. Oxford chooses their word of the year on the basis of a vote. And I guess Oxford puts out a series of choices that they think of like are sort of these culturally meaningful words, and they use frequency statistics from the media. They put this list together, and the word is meant to reflect the prevailing mood and focus of the prior year. And they think it has the potential of being sort of a word, a term that sticks around for a long time. So I figured if Oxford's going to pick the damn word, they might as well define it. So I looked up the definition. And according to the Oxford University Press, RIZZ is defined as a colloquialism, part of conversational language, which is defined as style, charm, or attractiveness, the ability to attract a romantic or sexual partner. So the word means something to younger folks. I guess it doesn't mean anything to me because I don't spend time on social media, but it means charisma, people. The progenitors of this term are people who feel like they need so-called RIZZ to keep their social media campaigns booming. So I can see where the term gets its value. It's also a way to get people to sleep with you, I guess, right? But if RIZZ is in fact charisma or something associated with it, and it means things like charm, attractiveness, and the ability to draw in a partner, that's all a lot of narcissism adjacent stuff. Listen, if you find someone who has RIZZ, and they're warm, compassionate, empathic, and self-aware, then you won the lottery. Never let your RIZZY love bunny go. But I'm going with probabilities here, and my guess is that RIZZ often doesn't stand with all those warm, empathic qualities. And instead, it seems like RIZZ is going to be associated with superficial charm and probably more of a, how quickly can I have sex with you? And not always that empathic. Tends to be more flash in the pan, a more love bomby kind of thing. And listen, believe it or not, folks, this whole situation was once young. And I understand the appeal of all of that. Nobody eats broccoli for dessert. But the whole idea is, can you keep your head about you when you run into the RIZZ with someone? Can you keep your heart out of it? Are you able to treat your RIZZY introduction as a fun flirtation that won't have that much of a long game to it? RIZZ as a word to me feels quick. It's an exciting night out at a club. It's a flirty thing on vacation. It doesn't feel like I'd love to get to know you authentically and will stand by your side when things are difficult. RIZZ is prom night. Empathic connection is being at your side when you get bad news and you want to share your feelings and feel safe sharing your needs. There is a difference. But to the degree that the so-called Oxford, well, it's not even so-called, it is, the Oxford word of the year is picking up on a cultural moment, it's not lost on me then that we're living in lots of parallel universes. One where RIZZ is having its moment at a time when more and more people seem to want help with narcissistic relationships. I guess the RIZZ folks are just going to keep on RIZZing. So that may mean that everyone else needs to have some radical acceptance about RIZZ. And what does that look like? I tend to be somebody who likes the classics. Let's go back to using the old school but classical term. If you're going to radically accept it, then be careful about the charisma. Charisma is what people tell me good tequila is like. It goes down so smooth that you keep getting drawn in, and before long, it's very easy for it to become regrettable. I don't drink tequila because I don't drink, but that's what I've been told. But charisma in and of itself, by itself, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, I treat it as sort of a very soft red flag. Enjoy it, but keep up the guardrails. Move slowly. Don't let the charisma or the RIZZ block you from seeing other patterns, such as whether this person interrupts you or monopolizes a conversation, or get testy if they don't get their way, or if they're generally entitled, or they don't listen at all, if they're manipulative or selfish. We all want the RIZZ to be real. And as a result, when we encounter it, we may be in denial, or we find the unpleasant stuff that happens alongside it to be a cognitively dissonant annoyance. So the RIZZ may lead us to rationalize. Oxford's word choice reminds me that maybe the only way people are ever really going to learn about narcissistic relationships, sadly, is by having them. That no amount of education I try to do someplace here, like about soft signs, like superficial charm and charisma and false confidence and love bombing and swagger, is ever going to make those qualities unattractive. And that the only way to recognize that a stove is hot is by touching it once and getting burned. This year, just as last year, my vote goes with Merriam-Webster. And FYI, last year, Oxford chose goblin mode as their word of the year. Goblin mode is 2 words, by the way, and I had to look it up. And goblin mode is a behavior that is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, sloppy, slovenly, and greedy in a way that rejects social expectations. So I would say that goblin mode, which I kind of get, I get the sloppy and the lazy, but the greedy, slovenly, and rejecting social expectations, that's a problem. And all of that together has some slight vulnerable narcissism vibes. So since the population is the one who decides this culturally relevant Oxford word of the year, it's clear that these words that tap themes that are adjacent to the potential for toxic patterns, goblin mode and RIZZ, keep emerging as the winner. I guess we vote for things that fascinate us, even if they're ultimately bad for us. So in a world of RIZZ, goblin mode, selfie, gaslighting, authenticity, and toxic, the words of the year from multiple sources for the past few years, clearly there's something in the water that we're trying to understand. The traits that comprise narcissism will always be enticing to us. The word of the year is proof of that. I guess RIZZ is like a beautiful wild animal. Get close and admire it, but not too close, or you're toast. And that is your authentic RIZZ moment for today. Thanks again.